the Colorado sky can put on an amazing show of light.
Quite interesting, quite interesting.
Not go well today.
Chaos in southern Gaza after the Gaza humanitarian.
The sky over the Mount of Olives suddenly showed a strange sight. No one could explain what it was, but everyone was sure the Lord has come back. In November 2025, a weird weather event appeared in the sky over Jerusalem, the city of messianic signs, the oldest and holiest place on earth, always at the heart of history and prophecy. From the Old Testament to the New, this spot has seen countless miracles. From God's presence in the temple to Jesus' rising to heaven, videos spread like wildfire online, putting Jerusalem back in the world's spotlight. On the Mount of Olives, clouds shaped like angels and crosses hung in the air, drawing every eye upward. Prophets and Christian communities all gave the same answer: the Lord has come. Do you believe it? As for me, I believe he really has returned. And right now, I'll take you on a journey to explore and unlock the meaning behind these amazing events. Are you ready? First off, we're going to look together at these strange clouds that shook the whole world in Jerusalem. You'll hardly believe your eyes when you see images that seem like they're from a movie or edited on a computer, but now they're right there in real life, seen by thousands of folks and caught on their phones. In November 2025, the sky over Jerusalem suddenly got weird. Clouds shaped like angels, crosses, or mysterious rings showed up right above the Mount of Olives, east of the Old City. This thing grabbed attention from all over the globe and became the big talk on every social media site. Videos spread like wildfire, putting Jerusalem back in the spotlight for stuff that's hard to explain. On the X forum, hashtags like Jerusalem Clouds, Mount of Olives Miracle, and Sign from God were everywhere. A video posted on November 3 by the account SniggyHire captured the odd cloud over the Mount of Olives with a quote from Zechariah 14:4. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will be split in two from east to west. The video quickly hit over 1,800 views, with comments pouring in. A sign the Lord is coming back. On November 8th, PsychProGen tweeted, "The Lord comes on the clouds. His feet touch the Mount of Olives and split Jerusalem in two." The post got hundreds of retweets, with comments arguing about the end times. Around the same time, Astromundane shared pics of clouds from Jerusalem and Cannes in France, suggesting it might be some special weather thing, but it got the Christian crowd believing in a holy sign. It wasn't just social media. YouTube videos caught it too. One from August 2025 got shared a ton in November, showing the Mount of Olives like it was cracking, covered in weird clouds. And a lot of people saw it as a sign Jesus is coming back. At the same time, on November 5, Charisma magazine reported on a worship awakening in Jerusalem, with shots of the clouds taken at the Tower of David near the Mount of Olives, getting believers everywhere all stirred up. On Facebook and Quora, hot discussions blew up about crosses in the sky over Israel. Some folks said it was a message from God, while others explained it as unusual clouds from Mediterranean winds. But nobody could deny how strange and exact the shapes were. This isn't the first time. Back in 2015, a trumpet cloud ring showed up over Jerusalem's sky, and NASA said it was from air pressure making the shape. But in 2025, with all the tense politics in the Middle East, a lot of people think it's an end-time sign, some mysterious message from above. What makes this one special is all the different cloud types showing up at once: angel shapes, crosses, even rings like trumpet sounds. The videos catch every detail clear: the swirling cloud wings, sunlight bouncing off, weird geometric light streaks. Folks watching feel like they're in a supernatural movie scene, but it's not staged at all. The event got backed up by reports from real eyewitnesses. Witnesses said strange sounds like trumpet blasts happened right when the clouds appeared. Some videos show light reflecting off the clouds, moving in angel wing patterns, looking alive and super unusual. These things even made scientists and weather experts stop, take note, and talk about it. Social media posts keep bringing up the prophecy in Zechariah 14:3-5. Then the Lord will go out and fight against those nations. He will have compassion on Jerusalem. His mountain valley will widen, and the Lord my God will come with all his holy ones. This quote has many believers linking it straight to the strange clouds, seeing it as God stepping in. Some researchers warn it could be natural causes. They point out winds from the Mediterranean, mixing with the Mount of Olives terrain, create a rain shadow effect, forming lenticular clouds or rings. NASA explains something like the 2015 event the same way. But the 2025 stuff is happening with big political and religious changes, so the believer community can't ignore the spiritual meaning. From a Bible angle, the Mount of Olives is where God's presence, the Shekinah, moved after the temple was destroyed. Ezekiel 11:23. Christians believe that's where Jesus will return, like the rising sun, Malachi 4:2. So these clouds feel like a warning, reminding folks of God's promise of salvation and help. Not just photos and videos, media reports highlight how odd it all is. Charisma magazine noted, hundreds of believers in Jerusalem saw clouds covering the Mount of Olives, strange shapes, vivid reflecting light, like it was designed by a supernatural hand. This info boosts the spread and trust in the event. The whole thing sparked a wave of talk about the end of the world. Posts connected to ancient prophecies, especially Zechariah 14, getting Christians worldwide watching every video, photo, and hashtag. They see it as a chance to wake up, pray, and get their faith ready. And do you know why they can be so completely sure about that? With absolute certainty? It's because these natural phenomena match up in an amazingly strange way with the ancient prophecies in the Bible. I'll connect each specific event for you so you can really picture the whole scene. Those clouds shaped like angels and the cross sign right away bring to mind Zechariah 14:4. On that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will be split in two, from east to west. The sight of clouds swirling around the mountaintop makes many believers think straight to this prophecy. The light shining down on the Tower of David and forming a cross reflection in the video reminds folks of Exodus 13:21, where the Lord goes ahead of his people in a pillar of cloud. By day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud. Those beams of light moving like they're leading the way for Jerusalem feel like a living proof of the Bible's words. The sound, like trumpet blasts ringing out in rhythms, makes a lot of people remember Revelation 1:7. He is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him. The swirling clouds and shining lights call to mind the Lord's appearing among people, real and mysterious all at once. The clouds circling the mountaintop and the changing light reflections act like they're interacting with the witnesses, reminding of the Shekinah glory, the Lord's presence on the Mount of Olives after the temple was destroyed. Ezekiel 11:23. Many believers see these lights and cloud movements as guidance, a sign that the Lord is watching and protecting. The beams of light hitting straight down on specific spots also bring to mind Malachi 4:2. The Sun of Righteousness will rise with healing in its rays. The areas lit up feel like a signal of hope, guiding Jerusalem, tying into the promise of salvation and lasting peace. Each swirling cloud ring, changing light, and sounding blast all echo the prophecy in Zechariah 14:5, his holy ones with him. This event feels like both a warning and encouragement, reminding people to stay awake for the Lord's return. The beams of light, forming shapes like angel wings, reflecting through the cloud rings, make viewers think of Psalm 104:3, where the Lord makes the clouds his chariot. It turns the experience real and divine, blending science and faith, sending a strong message. The Lord can show up anywhere. The light piercing through clouds, forming crosses and angels mixed with trumpet-like sounds, leads many believers to Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. It's a reminder to get spiritually ready and hold faith amid the signs. Those moving pillars of light, swirling cloud rings, and flashing beams in rhythm all bring believers back to Revelation 14:14. I looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was one like a son of man. This feels like a living picture of the prophecy, leaving folks curious and thoughtful. The rays shining down on ancient Jerusalem's landscape give a sense of guidance, like the prophecy in Ezekiel 37:1-14 about revival and God's presence among people. The clouds aren't just weather, they carry deep meaning, linking past, present, and future promises. The witnesses feel something different, with light beaming down, clouds swirling, sounds ringing out, like a holy presence watching every human move. This event stands as living proof of God's promises and Bible warnings, urging believers to keep strong faith and stay alert. Before we dive into the prophecies, let's look at what scientists say about that strange cloud over the Mount of Olives. Is there a simple natural explanation, or is something beyond reason still waiting for us? Meteorologists think the odd shapes in the sky come from Mediterranean winds hitting the mountain's unique shape. When moist air from the sea slams into the slopes, it forms rare lenticular clouds or ring clouds, and sunlight hitting them makes images that look like angel wings or a cross. NASA studied something similar back in 2015, when trumpet-shaped cloud rings showed up over Jerusalem. They said high air pressure mixed with heavy humidity and even smoke from airstrikes in Gaza and Lebanon could create these weird forms. Bottom line, a perfect match of nature and weather. But here's the odd part. In November 2025, it happened right in the middle of extreme political tension, making the whole thing feel more alive than ever. Scientists agree the cloud shapes are natural, but they can't explain why the light and sounds lined up so perfectly, giving an almost supernatural experience. There's no scientific proof of anything supernatural, yet these signs match Bible descriptions. In Exodus 13:21, a cloud led God's people. Revelation 1-7 says, He comes with the clouds. An angel image in the sky could be a natural sign that people see as God's presence, even if science can't prove it. This event really shows science's limits when something feels both natural and holy. Believers feel the light and sounds like a direct message from God, while weather experts can only describe the physics and not why it happened right then. That mystery is what makes the November 2025 cloud such a mix of science and faith, logical yet magical. Viewers stand there, trusting the weather explanation but feeling something divine. It's that thin line between nature and the divine, reason and faith, opening the door to things we haven't figured out yet. From a science view, the cloud is just physics. From a faith view, it's a sign, proof of ancient prophecies, showing nature can mirror what the Bible wrote thousands of years ago. The blend of logic and belief, mystery and answers, makes this so fascinating that anyone wants to dig deeper into what's happening on the Mount of Olives. With science completely stumped, let's try looking at this strange thing through the Bible's eyes to figure it out. When reason runs out of answers, faith and prophecy start dropping some surprising clues. In the Bible, clouds often stand for angels and God's presence. Psalm 104:3 says, He makes the clouds His chariot and rides on the wings of the wind. And Luke 21:27 talks about the Lord coming in a cloud with power and great glory. That's why those pictures of angel wings and a cross over the Mount of Olives aren't just clouds to a lot of believers. They see them as signs of God stepping in. These clouds showed up right when things were at their worst in Gaza and Jerusalem, which makes the whole thing feel even more meaningful. Zechariah 14 describes the Lord standing on the Mount of Olives to get involved in the middle of war, and this weird cloud seemed to shake the whole city, like it was saying God's power is right there in the smoke and destruction. The videos and social media clips are so clear that people watching feel like they're seeing something science can't touch. It's not just the clouds. Other amazing things, like the holy fire at the tomb of Christ back in April 2025, send the same kind of signals, tying right into political and military stuff like failed ceasefires. Every time one of these signs pops up, it lines up with the tension, creating a string of events that a lot of Bible scholars say is God reminding and warning us. Plus, the Bible stresses that angels and clouds aren't just symbols, they're ways God guides, protects, and warns people. Those clouds in November 2025, along with sounds like trumpet blasts, feel like a direct heads up. God's power is always there, even when it seems like nothing but fighting and chaos. Science can't fully explain these signals, but the Bible gives a bigger picture where nature and the divine mix together, where every cloud, every light, and every sound turns into a mysterious message. Folks watching get pulled in by the sights and feel something beyond the natural, sparking curiosity and awe, like they're seeing a prophecy come alive right in front of them. This strange cloud thing from November 2025, when you put it in a Bible context, bridges science and faith, the natural and the divine. It makes you wonder, is this just weather playing tricks, or God's way of reminding us of His power and presence in the middle of all the mess? The question hangs open, keeping the curiosity going and pushing anyone brave enough to dig deeper into the mystery of the Mount of Olives. And can you believe it? While the whole world is still in shock and scientists can't come up with a good explanation, that old book already knew about this centuries ago. It talks about it in every line, back when people were too far behind to notice the signs from Him. It's hard to believe, but that's what makes the story so exciting. You can't look away. Zechariah 14 starts with a warning, predicting the day the Lord steps in. Battles, the takeover and destruction of Jerusalem. Then the moment no one can imagine, His feet standing on the Mount of Olives and the mountain splitting in two. The north half shifts one way, the south half the other, opening a wide valley, making room for the Lord and His people. This picture makes people today think of those strange clouds over the Mount of Olives in November 2025. Swirling cloud columns, flashes of light like angel wings, sounds like trumpets echoing, creating a scene that feels mysterious and thrilling to anyone watching. The match between nature and prophecy gives a lot of folks the chills. In the video from Sniggyhire, white clouds spin around the mountaintop. Light flickers like a signal. Sometimes the light splits and forms a clear cross. Viewers say it feels like watching a living miracle, where nature and the divine come together. Zechariah wrote this prophecy around 520 BC, when Jerusalem faced powerful enemies, foretelling the Lord's intervention to save His people. The mountain splitting and the valley opening are symbols of rescue and protection, which believers today see right in those angel-shaped clouds on the mountain. The strange sounds in the videos, like trumpet blasts in rhythm, bring to mind Revelation 1:7. He is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see Him. The rhythm of light and sound fits together like heavenly music, leading many to believe the November 2025 signs are a warning of the Lord's return. The spinning cloud rings form angel wings, shining on specific spots on the Mount of Olives. Many see this as living proof of Zechariah 14:5, where it says, "The saints will come with Him, stepping out from the valley opened by the Lord's hand." The light leads the way, clouds swirling like they're guiding everyone watching. From a Jewish view, the Mount of Olives is where the Shekinah, the presence of the Lord, moved after the temple was destroyed. Ezekiel 11:23. When the light shines down, clouds spin, sounds ring out. Witnesses feel a clear sign of presence, a signal Zechariah warned about over 2,500 years ago. Some videos show beams flashing in rhythm, spinning, forming circles, and long arms like they're leading. Viewers can't look away, feeling both scared and curious. From a Bible angle, this recalls Malachi 4:2. The Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its wings. The light shining down feels like a promise of salvation and guidance for His people. The November 2025 cloud event is like a live picture of Zechariah 14:4-5, where his feet touch the mountain, creating a big valley and opening the way for the Lord's appearance. The light pillars, spinning cloud rings, echoing sounds, all blend into a living miracle, making believers feel ancient history and today are meeting right on the Mount of Olives. The images of light shining on the old city, spinning clouds forming angels, echoing sounds. Many connect this straight to Exodus 13:21, where the Lord led his people with a pillar of cloud. This event feels like living proof of divine presence among us, both natural and supernatural. The light beams reflecting through the cloud rings also remind of Revelation 14:14. I looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was one like a son of man. The strange match leaves viewers curious and filled with a feeling that's hard to put into words. Witnesses in Jerusalem describe light hitting specific spots, clouds spinning, sounds ringing out, giving the sense the Lord is watching every human move. It's a clear picture of intervention and guidance, just like Zechariah's prophecy, making hearts quiet and alert. Looking deep into the Bible, the light and cloud rings aren't just images. They're signs for his people to recognize the Lord's presence. The light pillars forming crosses and angel wings, mixed with the sounds, help watchers see that what was written in Zechariah 14 over 2,500 years ago is happening right in front of them. Jewish people see this as the Shekinah returning. Christians see it as the place Jesus will come back. The Mount of Olives, with its spinning clouds, piercing light, trumpet-like sounds, becomes a holy gateway, opening an era the ancient prophecies warned about and promised. Videos from Astro, Mundane, Sniggynear, and PsychProGen keep getting shared, turning the scene into a worldwide phenomenon. Every little detail, light beams, cloud rings, sounds, feels mysterious and hard to believe. This is living proof that Zechariah 14 isn't just old history, but a living warning for today. When light shines into every corner of the old city, spinning clouds form angels, sounds ring out, viewers clearly feel the sign of divine appearance. Every small detail ties back to Zechariah 14, reminding us the Lord isn't just watching, he's guiding, opening the way for his people and warning the wicked. The flashing light pillars, spinning cloud rings, echoing sounds keep watchers glued. It all blends nature and the divine, proving Zechariah 14 predicted this centuries ago. The Mount of Olives becomes a living symbol where history and prophecy meet. This event helps many believers realize what seemed like myths or movie scenes is now right in front of us. The strange clouds, light, and sounds appearing together, combined with Zechariah 14's prophecy, bring a feeling of awe and certainty that the Lord is at work. The light beams forming crosses, cloud rings spinning around the mountaintop, trumpet-like sounds, all mix into an experience that's both real and mystical. Jewish people call it Shekinah, Christians call it Jesus' return, and every detail matches Zechariah 14:3-5, leaving hearts curious and calm. With all these events happening, the world is still in chaos. Tensions are rising, economies are in crisis, and armed conflicts are shaking up politics everywhere. We'll look into how those strange clouds over Jerusalem might connect to all this. It makes me wonder if this is the moment marking the glorious return of the Lord. Right now, the Gaza Strip and its fragile ceasefire are the center of every fight. From November 7 to 9, 2025, heavy Israeli airstrikes took the lives of many civilians, leaving the world in shock. At the same time, a weird cloud appeared over the Mount of Olives, just about 70 kilometers from Gaza. It seemed to cover the whole city in a mysterious mist, like it was saying, "This is the moment the Lord is watching and stepping in." From a Bible point of view, Zechariah 14:2 talks about all the nations gathering against Jerusalem, its walls broken down. What's happening on the ground now reminds many believers of that prophecy. The cloud is seen as a valley of escape, a place where God's people will find protection in the middle of chaos and violence. it's not just Gaza. Lebanon and Iran are big players too. With 28,000 rockets from Hezbollah and Iran since 2023, and plans to launch 2,000 more, these threats are tied by many to the nations. In Zechariah 14:2, the cloud over the Mount of Olives stands right in the middle of this war stage, signaling the Lord's power showing up as nations gather against Israel. From a Christian view, this is also a birth pain sign of the end times. Like Matthew 24:8 says, all these things are just the beginning of the pains. The political military storm and the mysterious cloud seem to go hand in hand, keeping eyes glued to Jerusalem, the place of so many miracles and prophecies. The global economy is feeling it too. The Middle East war is driving up energy prices, hitting markets from Europe to Asia. Economists say the chaos in Jerusalem and nearby areas is raising geopolitical risks, creating the same urgent feeling Zechariah describes about the day the Lord steps in. The timing of all this has people asking, is this angel cloud just weather? It shows up right in the middle of war, missile attacks, and economic crisis, a chain of events that, according to prophets, signals the Lord's return. Real life and prophecy seem to blend, creating an experience that's thrilling and scary, making viewers wonder about supernatural power shaping history. Recent events like the holy fire at the Lord's tomb in April 2025, or heavenly signs over Jerusalem's sky, all tie into a chain of signals in theology linking nature and people. These clouds, lights, and strange sounds aren't just physical things. They're messages of warning and guidance, highlighting the Lord's power in a chaotic world. Overall, this angel cloud appearing amid military tension, political conflict, and global economic crisis, when seen with Zechariah 14 and Revelation 1-7, has a pull that's hard to resist. Viewers feel the urgency, the mess of today's world, but also a light of hope and supernatural power at work. Like every event is being arranged to warn and guide humanity. The data, photos, and videos spreading on social media make it all feel closer. Every tweet, every clip is a piece of the big picture, taking people from curiosity to excitement, even awe. The mix of hot battlefield reality and heavenly signs creates an experience that's both scientific and mysterious, keeping watchers hooked on every hour's developments. In the end, we see it's not just science or politics. Scripture, nature, and history are all telling a mysterious story together. This angel cloud isn't just an atmospheric thing. It's a divine message sent to the world in a time of chaos and danger. Viewers aren't just watching, they're witnesses to a moment prophets described, where the Lord's power shines through humanity's upheavals. Right in front of us are the signs that nature or God is giving us, reminding us of the promise in Zechariah 14. He will come back, save Jerusalem, and bring lasting peace in the middle of all this political and military mess. What do you think? Was that cloud in November 2025 just weather or a miracle? Me, I believe it's the same old message ringing out loud and clear. Stay awake, get your heart ready, and put your trust in the Lord. Jesus told us, stay awake and pray, Matthew 26-41. It's not just for special days. It's a call to live every single moment to the full. Be thankful for what you've got. Live by faith, and keep praying for peace in places torn apart like Gaza, Lebanon, and Israel. That kind of faith will calm your heart and open it up to the holy things. Let the light of faith guide everything you do. Get a clean, honest, loving heart, ready to meet the Lord anytime. Every prayer, every kind act is a brick in the wall of peace and part of getting ready for the day He returns. In a world full of chaos, every one of us can be a little light, spreading hope and love. Staying awake isn't just spotting signs. It's living each day with duty, compassion, and trust in God's power. Those clouds over Jerusalem might be a warning or a miracle, but the main message is the same. Get your soul ready to welcome Him. Think about your life. Have you lived with real gratitude, prayed for peace, kept a good heart? Every small thing you do can be a thank you to God. Every day you stay awake brings you closer to Him. If the cloud is a warning, don't hesitate. If it's a miracle, let it strengthen your faith. And finally, hold on to your faith. Keep your soul clean. Stay thankful and never stop praying. Share what you've seen, pictures or stories of the signs over Jerusalem, in the comments. Keep an eye on the signs, watch the world, but always keep God at the center. We can all be watchmen, healthy, loving, and ready. So when He comes back, our hearts are clean and shining with faith. If this video touched you, hit like to show support. Share it with friends and family to spread the wake-up call. Don't forget to subscribe so you catch the next mysterious signs and explore the unsolved puzzles of the world with us. Every click you make is part of the journey to wake up and get our hearts ready for the Lord.
American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty.
The bright green flash is thought to be from the nickel in the metallic meteor burning in Earth's atmosphere.
The court granted the administration's request, sending the case back to a circuit court.
Trump's comeback has kicked off a bunch of weird stuff. Is this good news for the world? 2025. America's shaking. Donald Trump's back in the White House, and some strange wave is rolling from the sky right down to politics. Meteors hanging around, trade firestorms, diseases popping up again. It all feels like a wink, warning something big's coming. You feel it too? The world ain't the same. That 16th century prophet Nostradamus wrote 942 four-line poems in Les Prophecies, full of riddles. Some folks read about a great king, a big leader from the West, bringing change but also fire from above. Quatrain X 72 says, "From the sky will come a great king of terror." Ring a bell? The Bible, Daniel 7, warns about empires and a little horn rising, the Antichrist, or end times leader, stirring chaos, but paving the way for God's kingdom. Could Trump be playing that part? And this is just the start. The great king's return is triggering 7 mysterious signs right here in the USA. Don't miss a single clue, because maybe you're the one who'll figure out the right answer. Is Trump the Antichrist, or the great king the prophecies talked about? Right now, let's dive in together, where ancient predictions meet 2025 reality. Are you ready? Before we dive into checking out 7 weird things popping up all over America right now, let's step back a bit to those old predictions from hundreds of years ago. This'll help you figure out for yourself, what's Trump really here for? Nostradamus talked about a great king, a big leader coming down from the sky. He wrote about a great king showing up from the sky. Is he a savior or a sign of trouble? Let's look straight at Quatrain X 72 and see what it says. The year 1999, 7th month. From the sky will come a great king of terror, to bring back to life the great king of Angol Moya. The picture here is a king dropping in from the sky, powerful and scary all at once. A lot of folks today think this great king is a Western leader, coming back strong after some huge event, and plenty tie it right to Donald Trump. Ken Bist, in his book Nostradamus and the Great Quatrains, points out that 75% of the quatrains tie into WW3 in 2025, with the great king starting fire from the sky, maybe nuclear war, natural disasters, or total chaos worldwide. Modern sites like Money Control or Penn Live connect this quatrain to Trump too. His comeback could spark wars so cruel, Quatrain 6, 97, from trade fights to diseases coming back. It doesn't stop there. Trump also gets called the false trumpet in Quatrain 1st, 87, the great shameless audacious baller. He's the great king bringing luck from Mars, meaning war, fights, and big changes, but also leading the West toward decline, Quatrain X 72. Through Nostradamus's eyes, Trump looks like the great king, full of power, shaking up the world, but spreading chaos too. Its strength and trouble rolled into one, leaving you wondering, is he here to save us or warn us? The mystery just hangs there, waiting for each of us to think it over. His return isn't just politics. The way Nostradamus reads it, it marks a turning point for all of us, where power and mess go hand in hand. That great king from the quatrain seems to be hitting real life in 2025. Trade wars, sickness returning, global tensions like never before. Daniel 7 talks about the little horn, an end times leader stirring up trouble. While Nostradamus sees Trump as a great king, the Bible warns from another angle. Daniel 7 mentions a little horn, an end times leader causing chaos. Could Trump be that guy? Let's see what Daniel 7 says. Daniel 7 describes 4 beasts standing for big empires: the lion for Babylon, the bear for Medo, Persia, the leopard for Greece, and the iron-toothed beast for Rome. The last empire, coming back through modern America and the EU, the little horn pops up from the 4th beast, an end times leader who brags, changes laws, and goes after God's people for 3.5 years. Modern takes from Got Questions and Life, Hope, and Truth put America in the 10 horns, with the little horn as someone starting wars and war rumors. In 2025, some folks see Trump as a temporary little horn. His return signals the fall of the 4th beast, modern America, and kicks off WW3, leading to God's kingdom, Daniel 7:27. If you line it up with Nostradamus' quatrain, you get 2 different views of Trump that still fit together tight. Nostradamus paints him as great king, powerful, world-changing, dropping fire but strong. Daniel 7 warns of him as little horn, stirring chaos, shaking rules, signaling end time trials. This contrast builds a tricky picture. Trump's both a mighty king and a troublemaking leader. You've got to ask yourself, savior or bad sign? The clash makes him mysterious, interesting, and a little worrying. So, what do you think Trump really is? When you put those 2 predictions together, they snap into one picture in a surprising way. The cool part is, watching Trump today, what he does lines up with both sides. Like the great king, Trump's strong, decisive, shaking up politics in the world. His moves, from trade to global stuff, reach far and wide, just like Nostradamus' big leader. Like the little horn, Trump stirs chaos, pushes against laws and order, signaling tough times ahead, right out of Daniel 7. The 2 prophecies, Nostradamus and Daniel 7, seem to meet at the same moment. Trump showing up sets off huge shakes worldwide, from trade fights, diseases returning, to global tensions. No clear answer. You pick if he's a savior or a warning sign. But one thing's sure, Trump's comeback raises big questions about where humanity's headed. It makes us stop, look, and put ourselves between old prophecies and 2025 reality. Looking at Quatrain X, 72, and Daniel 7, the link's clear. Trump shows up as both powerful king and chaos bringer. This mix builds a picture full of strength and challenge, pulling everyone in to think about what's next. With this groundwork, the next step is checking out 7 strange signs in America in 2025, where those centuries-old predictions seem to be coming true right now. You ready to see the great king or little horn right in front of you? Now let's figure out together 7 mysterious things happening right here in America, okay? Is God trying to send a message to all of us? 1. Fireball from the sky. Strange light ripping through the night. A guy in Oregon caught something on video that gave everybody the chills. Right in the middle of the dark night sky, a huge green fireball showed up and lit up a big chunk of the sky. No news warning, no weather report, boom. It just happened out of nowhere, like the sky cracked open with a secret nobody's ever seen before. That video spread like crazy online, but just seconds later, poof, it was gone, totally deleted. Scientists and sky experts rushed to check satellite data, radar, every gadget they had. But get this, they went quiet. No statements, no explanations, like somebody told them to keep it hush, hush. Folks watching are left wondering, was it a giant meteor from space or some rare sky event? But I don't think it's just some rare natural thing. Looking at it like a prophecy, Nostradamus wrote in Quatrain X, 72 about a fireball of great destruction, a ball of fire, warning of awful changes coming. That weird green glow in the dark sky feels like a big visual warning, hinting at power and chaos on the way. Don't you think it's spooky how a prediction from hundreds of years ago lines up with what's happening right in front of us? But it doesn't stop there. When you look at politics right now, Trump's comeback is like a great king in modern terms, bringing strength and big changes, but also scaring a lot of people. His tariffs, trade fights, and global tensions are like fire, right here on the ground, matching that strange sky light perfectly. So the fireball feels like a reminder that power and chaos always go hand in hand. The fireball isn't just a sky show, it's a clear warning. Daniel 7 talks about the little horn, an end times leader, paving the way for huge trials. Trump being here now is like a symbol of power. He makes changes, but also stirs up trouble. The light from above seems to match the shakeups he's causing, leaving folks scared and curious. And do you dare believe all this could be the starting sign of the big events the prophecies warned about? 2. The plague comes back when the past knocks on the present. Spring 2025. Hospitals in many states sounded the alarm all at once. A strange new virus showed up, a twist on the old COVID-19, spreading like wildfire. Health agencies rushed to look into it, but info was scarce. Some videos popped up online showing patients rushed into isolation rooms, machines beeping loud, total chaos. Then they got taken down fast. Scientists jumped right in. They studied the gene sequence, tested samples, and worked with WHO and CDC. Still, nobody could figure out why the virus came roaring back so quickly, or why the variant hit several states at the same time. Science had answers: natural mutation, changing environment, helping it grow, but none of that calmed folks down. What people saw was chaos, rising numbers, and that helpless feeling against a disease. In the middle of the worry, a few experts brought up old events and linked them to ancient prophecies. Nostradamus wrote in a quatrain about great pestilence from the past returns, a big plague coming back, spreading fear and shaking the world. That line felt alive again as the outbreak grew and things spun out of control. Then there's Daniel 7:25, talking about a leader who changes laws and causes chaos. Trump, with his cuts to healthcare and focus on the economy, got tied to the mess by a lot of analysts. Those moves put extra strain on hospitals, let the disease spread faster, and made it feel like everything was part of some predicted chain of events. The return of the plague reminds us how fragile we are against nature and politics. It's a real-life test and a prophecy coming true at the same time. Trump stands in the center, not as a hero, but as a symbol of power and unrest, hitting people's lives hard and stirring up worry across the country. This whole thing makes folks look back and wonder about the tie between today's news, political power, and those old prophecies. The panic in the air, mysterious science data, and the virus variant turn into a living story where past, present, and prophecy mix together, keeping everyone hooked on what happens next. 3. Civil War. Inside America falls into chaos. Right at 10:37 p.m. on the 14th of April 2025, the streets of Chicago exploded with violence. What started as regular protests turned into total mayhem. Fires shot up from burning trash cans, the sound of breaking glass echoed through the night, and thick smoke covered every block. Amateur videos caught the chaos, but most clips got wiped off social media fast, like someone wanted the truth hidden. Security teams rushed in, blocking roads and sending out riot police, but the violence kept spreading, way out of control. Social experts broke it down. deep political splits, fake news running wild, and hot-button policies lately. Even with the smart explanations, the scary pictures still gave folks chills, and viewers across the country couldn't look away from their screens. Looking at all this, history and politics experts couldn't help thinking back to old warnings that had been sounded long ago. Nostradamus, in Quatrain 6, 97, talked about wars so cruel, fierce fights not just between countries, but right inside society. Daniel 7 warned about foes within and without, enemies from inside and out, tearing down the fragile order and peace. In 2025, Trump's comeback gets seen by a lot of modern takes as a great king. His power and bold words split the country, fire up the fights, and spark riots in the streets. Trump's both the center of power and the spark for the trouble, kicking off a chain of events that feel just like those ancient prophecies. These riots aren't just social stuff. They're like proof of warnings from hundreds of years back. People face the clashes. Confusion spreads everywhere, while experts try to explain, break it down, and warn. Everything seems tied straight to the prophecies of Nostradamus and Daniel 7, where political power and social splits come together in one big mess. The night of April 14 turns into a key marker in the 2025 chain of events, when Trump, the divided country, and those old prophecies all seem to meet, starting a stretch where the whole nation watches every twist, feels the chaos, but stays curious about what's next. Everything's going downright crazy, don't you think? 4. Economic downturn. America's economy shaken. On the morning of the 3rd of June 2025, government offices in Washington shut down. Folks lined up for blocks outside supermarkets, scrambling for whatever food was left on the shelves. Everything felt tense and scary, especially with word spreading that food aid had been cut by 32%. Economists jumped in right away with warnings. The stock market was crashing because of those new tariffs. The Dow Jones dropped thousands of points in just hours, and big companies stopped working. Experts said this wasn't just a short money crisis. It was a sign of deep trouble in society. Pictures of people waiting in line for food, empty store shelves, and closed government buildings reminded many of that old line, "Fortunes lost overnight," from Nostradamus. Today's economists tried to explain it. Trump's trade rules, broken supply chains around the world, but no one could ignore the fear spreading everywhere. Meanwhile, history and religion experts saw it differently. Some modern folks point to Trump as the little horn in Daniel 7, the one who starts big, wild changes for a while. His high tariffs and aid cuts get compared to Nostradamus talking about wealth gone in a single night, like a warning about power and what it can do to everybody. This downturn isn't just about money. It's part of old prophecies coming true. With markets falling, people going hungry, and the government too slow to help, these scenes prove what was predicted centuries ago. Trump, right in the middle of power, sets off the chaos and makes real those warnings of economic fire from the sky, so the whole country feels the results of power and fast change. All this puts America in a tough spot, but it also lets us watch how prophecy, policy, and everyday life mix together. People follow every hour, every minute, seeing what one leader can cause, and realizing the warnings from Nostradamus and Daniel 7 aren't just old stories. They're playing out right in front of us. 5. Big earthquakes hit out of nowhere. Whole California shakes. On the night of the 12th of July, 2025, California and Oregon got hit hard. Buildings shook, furniture fell over, streets cracked open. Folks ran outside in the dark, emergency lights flashing, signaling a quake like nothing before. Geologists jumped in quick, clocking it at 7.8 on the Richter scale. Axial seamount, that underwater volcano in the Pacific, blew its top at the same time, shooting up huge smoke columns and big waves. Experts could only guess how the quake and volcano tied together, but the numbers didn't explain the chill running down everyone's spine along the coast. People caught giant smoke plumes and wild waves on their phones, videos spreading like wildfire. Scientists looked at the data, tried to calm everyone down, but couldn't deny something was off. These things seemed beyond what we know, stirring up fear and wonder about what's coming next. Earthquakes and volcanoes aren't just nature. Readings from Daniel 7 talk about earth shaking, a sign of chaos and power shifts. This quake brings to mind the roaring sea in Luke 21, where nature's signs warn of old empires falling and new power rising. Trump, right in the center of power in 2025, ties neatly into these predictions. His hot-button policies, inner fights, and economic crises act like political and social tremors, making old prophecies come alive. People felt the ground move, water boil, chaos everywhere, just like analysts see this as proof of prophecies unfolding. Trump's seen as the spark for short-term mess, guiding the country through political and social quakes, every move fitting the picture of a great king or little horn, a strong force challenging the old order and setting up big changes. Every quake, every volcano smoke column, every worried smile on the street is a piece of the prophecy puzzle. When nature rages, society shakes, and power stands in the middle of it all, we see Nostradamus and Daniel 7 aren't just on paper anymore. They're alive right in front of us, making you look at America and wonder what's really going on and where will Trump take this country in these final days. 6. East Asia rises up, challenges U.S. power. Early on the morning of the 3rd of September 2025, Asian markets shook hard. China and the other BRICS countries suddenly stepped up their economic and military teamwork. U.S. stocks dropped sharply, and the big money buildings in New York seemed to tremble with every trade update. Folks at home watched TV and scrolled social media, stunned by the sudden burst of power coming from the East. Experts called it the East's organized comeback. Economists said the BRICS group was building a real rival to America, taking control of key energy and resources. China sped up its military growth while spreading its tech and business reach, keeping U.S. spies and think tanks on high alert. No one saw this coming. It hit all at once and caught the world off guard. Nostradamus once wrote, "East loses its light," meaning the East would shine bright, but also signal a big shift in world order. In 2025, with Trump slapping on heavy tariffs, trade rules got tough, tensions rose, and the risk of a full-blown economic clash, or even war, grew real. Ken Bist says 75% of the quatrains about World War III clearly show a showdown between West and East, where a great king steps up to shake the old system. Trump, leading America, sits right in the middle of all this. His tariff calls, energy crises, and trade fights don't just rattle the globe. They match the warnings Nostradamus left behind. Daniel 7 talks about foes within and without, enemies inside and outside, where U.S. power gets tested from home and from rival blocs. Trump, the great king or little horn in the picture, sets off a political and economic storm that pushes the world to the edge of war. Viewers stare at the global map, glued to the flood of news, feeling uneasy but unable to look away. As the East lights up and America shakes, the old prophecies seem to come alive right in front of us, with Trump at the eye of the storm, guiding and challenging power at the same time. His tough policies and the world's reaction open the door to the final signs of chaos, a place where ancient predictions meet the reality of 2025. 7. A warning from the sky, blood moon, and planet parade. The American sky suddenly turned bright red from a rare blood moon on the night of the 28th of October, 2025, while planets lined up along the equator. Folks from the East Coast to the West Coast snapped photos, went live online, feeling both scared and spellbound. Astronomers quickly figured out the orbits, but couldn't explain why the moon's red glow was so fierce and lit up the whole land. NASA stayed quiet. No warnings at all. Experts said It was a rare sky event, mixing a total lunar eclipse with an odd planet lineup. The red light was stronger than anyone expected, making strange reflections on rivers and lakes, and even sky. Measuring gear acted up. Scientists called it the blood moon paradox, something never seen before, happening right when politics and money matters worldwide were in chaos, leaving sky watchers stunned and on guard. Nostradamus once wrote, "From the sky will come a great king of terror, a king from above, with blazing light and signs from high up." In 2025, many tied Trump's comeback to this picture. Daniel 7:27 talks of a kingdom from heaven, a kingdom from the sky, where final power shows up and brings a new order. The verses about a great king hint that these sky changes are warnings, and a leader rises to shape the times. The blood moon isn't just a sky show. It seems to whisper deep shifts in world power. Trump, back as the king of terror, stirs up policies and moves with awful strength in money, military, and politics. People watching the sky and the planet march feel like they're seeing prophecy come alive right in front of them. The mix of weird sky sights and real-world politics makes this mysterious and full of hints. The blood moon acts like a mirror for power, signaling big global turns. It's the last sign in a string of 7, where old prophecies meet 2025 reality, and Trump, leading America, sits at the heart of it all. Viewers can't look away from the sky or the news, feeling excited and curious, because every light and every move might be a clue to what's coming next. Looking back at this string of 7 strange events across America, from the blood, red moon in the sky, to natural disasters, diseases coming back, and riots breaking out inside the country, we see a weird pattern starting to show up. Each thing, even with scientific explanations, carries signs that old prophets warned about, like Nostradamus and Daniel 7. Nostradamus talked about a great king from the west, showing up with signs from the sky, fire, and war. Daniel 7 predicted a little horn, a final time leader who would change laws and start chaos. Watching what's happening in 2025, Trump's return seems to line up with these warnings, bringing big turns in politics, the economy, and society. But the main message isn't just about predicting one person. It's a reminder to wake up, stay alert, and look at everything from different sides. Don't blindly worship any leader. Put your trust in God and in values that last through time. Every choice and action can shape the future, and we need to know our own part in history's flow. After following these breakdowns and events, take a moment to ask yourself, in your view, who is Trump really? Great king or little horn? Do his actions, policies, and comeback bring hope or chaos? This isn't just a thought exercise. It's a chance for each of us to judge, think it through, and form our own opinion. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Share your feelings, your take, and your personal view after seeing the whole chain of events and how they tie to the prophecies. Your thoughts don't just add to the talk, they help the whole group see the truth more clearly. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you catch the next breakdowns. Every bit of support spreads the word, wakes more folks up, and gives you a front row seat to mysteries unfolding. Let's watch together, search for light together, right in the middle of this era's hidden signs.
He's approaching the wall. We don't have the right perspective here.
Let me at this point actually bring in nearest Macklin.
Nobody really knows what Netanyahu wants to do next.
Preparing for it. They have recreated ancient vessels, crafted priestly garments, and they are breeding.
The third temple is about to be built, and the whole world is shaking. But the question is, do you believe this is God's plan or a human conspiracy? Picture this. In 2026, right in the middle of fiery Jerusalem, the Dome of the Rock lies in ruins. There, a new temple rises up, grand, shining like gold, just like the prophecy in Ezekiel 40:48. The Jewish people call it the glory returning, but the rest of the world is scared. Could this spark World War III? And recent leaks show that Netanyahu and his far-right ally Ben-Gvir are secretly training priests and preparing red heifers for the temple rituals. They're aiming for one specific year, 2026. Back in November 2025, Al Jazeera reported, Israeli police blocked Palestinian media at Al-Aqsa during Ramadan, sparking huge protests. Up in the sky, drones and strange lights flashed like warning signs from above. Is this the start of prophecy coming true, or a signal that Jesus is returning? Watch to the end of this video, because you're the one who'll figure out the answer. Now, get ready. The next part will take you right into the heart of the storm that's building, where politics, religion, and prophecy twist together into a dangerous web, and it all centers on one symbol, the third temple. First, you and I will look together at the tense state of the world right now, before this temple appears, and why it's got all of humanity on edge. Is humanity about to step into the chaos that God once warned about? Jerusalem, that holy spot right in the middle of three big religions, is now the eye of the storm. In November 2025, Al Jazeera reported that at least 10 Palestinian journalists were banned from the Al-Aqsa area for the whole month of Ramadan. The reason given was security, but many sources say it was to hide secret visits by National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and his far-right group. They're working hard on what they call a historic mission, rebuilding the Temple of God. Does that scare you? Because up on the holy hill called Temple Mount, where the Ark of the Covenant once sat, every stone and every wall is turning into fuel for a war over faith. When the news leaked, protests broke out. Thousands of Muslims hit the streets, shouting, Al-Aqsa is untouchable. Israeli police fired back with tear gas and rubber bullets. Jordan, Palestine, and many other Arab countries accused Israel of violating Haram al-Sharif, the third holiest site in Islam. But what really chills the world is the mixed message from Prime Minister Netanyahu. He says Israel won't change the status quo. Yet Ben-Gvir, right there in his own government, openly declares it's time for Jews to pray in their temple. And you know, Ben-Gvir doesn't just talk. He and far-right groups like Temple Mount Faithful and Returning to the Mount are quietly planning what they believe is the real rebirth of Israel by building the third temple right where the Al-Aqsa Mosque stands. From 2023 to 2025, more than 50,000 Jews have visited and prayed on Temple Mount, the highest number since the 1967 war. These aren't just regular visits anymore. It's an unspoken claim. We're ready to take our temple back. Secret prayer sessions, sermons about Jerusalem belongs to God, rituals with red heifers, all happening in the shadows. And if you've read the Bible, you know. Ezekiel, chapters 40 through 48, describes a temple built after days of trouble, where God will live among his people. But at the same time, Thessalonians warn, a man will walk into that very temple, claiming he is God, the Antichrist. He'll use faith to start wars and plunge the world into chaos before the Lord returns. Now look around. Do you see it happening? Jerusalem is boiling. News from the Middle East keeps piling up. Muslim extremists swear to defend Al-Aqsa with blood, while Jewish extremists shout, let the temple rise again. A real religious showdown is taking shape. And it's no longer just in the pages of prophecy. It's playing out in the real world, right in front of you and me. Netanyahu tries to calm the world, saying nothing's changing on Temple Mount. But leaked photos show groups being led up the hill every week, guarded tight by police. Meanwhile, Jewish priests from the Temple Institute are practicing sacrifice rituals with items made exactly like in Leviticus. They've even raised red heifers, the animals mentioned in Numbers 19 as the only way to purify for starting a new temple. Some groups believe 2026 will be the year God opens the temple door, the moment Israel's prophets call the completion of 70 years since Israel's rebirth. They're talking more and more about the ancient prophecies of Daniel's final week, a 7-year time of testing. Do you see the scary overlap? The Bible says, in the last days, while people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly. 1 Thessalonians 5-3. And now, while the world worries about climate, wars, and crises, a religious fire is being fanned, one that could burn down the fragile peace we have. Maybe the scariest part isn't the temple being rebuilt, it's who walks in first. Because if the temple stands for God's return, it could also be the throne the Antichrist is waiting for. And if the prophecies are right, he'll use that very building to fool the world, making many believe he's the Messiah, until real disaster hits. Reading this, I suddenly feel a chill. Not from fear, but from seeing it all fit together, like the last pieces of a prophecy puzzle, thousands of years in the making. Temple Mount isn't just ruins anymore. It's humanity's countdown clock. Every move, every word, every stone shifted in Jerusalem is pushing the world closer to what the Bible calls the day of the Lord. And now, the question isn't if anymore, it's when. Are we watching the start of the greatest prophecy or a global nightmare? Stick with me, because in the next part, you'll see the secret plan behind the Third Temple and how it's being put together step by step by the very people holding the highest power in Israel today. Is the Third Temple really getting ready for the day Jesus comes back? Or is there a secret plan behind it that could shake the whole world? The Third Temple is being prepared. Could this be paving the way for the Lord's return? Or is it just a political scheme dressed up in religion? That question has the whole world looking toward Jerusalem, where every stone seems to tremble under the weight of ancient prophecies. It all started with a meeting that seemed ordinary, but left echoes that last through time. When Benjamin Netanyahu was still a young politician, he went to see Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the legendary leader known as the Rebbe. In a video that's still around today, the Rebbe holds Netanyahu's hand tight, looks deep into his eyes, and says, "You will help prepare for the time of the Messiah." It sounded like a blessing, but to folks who know the Bible well, it rang out like the start of something destined. From that moment, Netanyahu's political path took a different turn. Whether he rose or fell, faced opposition or praise, every road seemed to lead back to the same place, Jerusalem, and the dream of the Third Temple. The longer it went on, the more people watching Israeli politics felt something bigger than human plans at work. Every time Netanyahu came back to power, the Rebbe's prophecy got mentioned again, like an echo that wouldn't fade. 30 years later, Israel has changed. It's a small country, but political, military, and religious power are coming together in a strange way. Far-right parties that used to stay on the edges are now right in the center of things. In Netanyahu's new cabinet, the most controversial names, like Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, hold key spots. Both openly support rebuilding the Third Temple on the Temple Mount, where the Muslim holy sites stand now, including the Dome of the Rock. To them, it's not just a religious symbol, it's a holy mission. And here's the thing, under Netanyahu, these ideas aren't seen as extreme anymore. The Temple Institute, the group that studies and prepares for the future temple, has expanded like never before. In their labs and workshops, they're making exact copies of sacred items from the Book of Exodus. A gold altar, silver trumpets, holy cups, and even the priest's robes. Every detail carries prophetic meaning, like they're waiting for just the right moment to come into the light. It doesn't stop there. A secret program has started, selecting people believed to be descendants of the Levite tribe, the Kohanim, to train in ancient sacrifice rituals. These folks live apart, memorize Bible passages, practice every gesture, as if one signal could put them right into the roles their ancestors had. In their teachings, they call that moment the 13th hour, when the temple comes back to life, and Israel is purified before God. At the same time, 5 pure red heifers were flown in from Texas to Israel. According to Numbers 19, the ashes of a red heifer are the only way to cleanse people for God's presence. The Temple Institute says these cows are being cared for in a secret spot in Shiloh, and they're still completely pure. To them, It's a sign that it's time to prepare for the first ritual in over 2,000 years. Bible followers know what that means. This ritual only happened before God came down to the temple. The international media is mostly quiet about it. But inside Israel, independent papers like Haaretz are starting to sound alarms. A 2024 article was titled "The Temple Plan, the Biggest Project Happening in Silence." Reporter Amos Harel wrote, "When religion and power start mixing, blood will flow, and the Middle East map could be redrawn." Those words aren't just a warning. They're like a sigh, as if he's seeing something unavoidable. Still, behind the scenes, it all keeps going. A group of young architects is said to have designed a 3D model of the new temple, based on the details in Ezekiel 40:48. That model leaked online in mid-2024 with a short note, "The House of the Lord coming soon." Just that line alone got religious communities around the world buzzing. At the same time, there's talk of an Israeli delegation going to Washington to discuss something called the Trust Council, an international group to oversee and keep peace around the Temple Mount. But a lot of observers think it's just a diplomatic cover for a deeper plan, where politics, religion, and prophecy are blending, quietly moving every brick toward Jerusalem's future. Then, strange signs started showing up around the Temple Mount. Small clashes between Jews and Muslims spiked in unusual ways. Some pilgrimage groups began holding open prayers right at the foot of the southern wall, something that used to be totally forbidden. Social media spread videos of the shofar horn blasting through the Jerusalem night, the sound lingering like it was waking up old memories. And Bible believers remembered Joel's words, "Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy hill, for the day of the Lord is near." Those images are splitting the world. For many Israelis, preparing the temple is a source of pride and sacred faith. But for Christian theologians, it's a worrying sign, because in Revelation, when the temple is rebuilt, that's when the Antichrist steps in, claiming to be God. Still, nobody's sure. It all stays at the level of coincidences, pieces fitting together in a chilling way. Netanyahu never talks directly about the temple plan in public speeches, but analysts say he's following a quiet roadmap, balancing religious belief with political power. Under him, Israel is at its strongest point in history: elite military, wider international ties, and high national spirit. And right in the middle of that, the third temple idea isn't a far-off dream anymore. It's discussed in high-level closed meetings. Haaretz once quoted an anonymous advisor, "Netanyahu doesn't just want to make history, he wants to end it." That's a loaded statement, making observers shiver. Because if ending history means starting a new era, what will that era look like? Everlasting peace? Or the final storm the prophets talked about? Jerusalem, the city of light and blood, is once again at a crossroads of fate. You see pilgrims passing the Wailing Wall, whispering ancient prayers. Up in the sky, flocks of migrating birds fly in swirling patterns, catching the glow of a fiery sunset. Nobody knows if it's just chance or a warning written right in the heavens. And amid all those echoes, the question still burns quietly in millions of hearts. Are all these changes, from politics and religion to strange signs in the sky, leading to the same point? Is Jerusalem getting ready for an event that will change humanity? Or is this just a human drama, staged to test faith? Nobody has the answer. But one thing's for sure: every brick being laid, every ritual being revived, every prayer rising from the Temple Mount, they're all counting down. And when that moment comes, history won't just change direction, it will open the final chapter the Bible mentioned. Could it be that everything happening in Jerusalem today, from the Temple Institute's blueprints to the red heifers being quietly raised, is a replay of a prophecy spoken over 2,500 years ago? The first to see it was Ezekiel. Have you noticed what the world's talking about? Third temple, the rise of the Antichrist, the Great Tribulation. It all traces back to the final chapters of Ezekiel 40:48. Today, We're going to unpack that vision, to see what he saw when God's Spirit carried him to a very high mountain. Ezekiel was a prophet during the Babylonian exile, when the first temple was destroyed. In the despair of his people, God showed him an incredible vision.